I don't see Mike.
Yeah, he's in here. All right, I've got 6:30. Is everybody ready to go? All right, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order then. It looks like we are live on YouTube up there in the corner. So we do have one change to the agenda that's down there in the board policy updates under information and discussion. It's policy GCBDAA and then the associated AR. Because the COVID relief bill was not renewed, that the need for that policy goes away. So we won't be updating that tonight, but that's going to be the only change to the agenda that we have at this point. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved as amended.
Okay, we got Dale. Dale made a motion. Jim, you want to second it then?
Second as amended.
Okay.
I
All right.
second that. Get that.
Any discussion? All right, I will go ahead and go through the list here then and roll call the vote. So yay if you're for it, nay if you're against it. So Jim Gorley,
Aye.
Joe Kennedy,
Aye.
Dale Keene,
Aye.
Jenny Daniels,
Aye.
Chance Keeney,
Aye.
Deborah Brown,
Aye.
and Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
All right, and I don't see Jason Van Eck on here yet. I know he will be joining us later. So, all right, motion passes. So we'll get moving. We did have at least one public comment. Did you want to read that one, Tom, or how did you want to deal with this?
Julie's got that public comment.
All right. I'm just going to read it straight through.
All right, take care.
Dear Superintendent Yaris, Chairman Reddick, and respective board members. Hello, I hope to attend tomorrow's board meeting. I understand it is virtual, so I am submitting my comments. So she did. First, thank you for all of your hard work you have put into distance learning and navigating this difficult time. Please, as you consider how, when to reopen schools, do so quickly as possible. Our children are hurting and being damaged by the distance learning. I personally have a high school schooler who has been a 4-point student his entire life. I am watching him lose his passion and motivation for learning, and it breaks my heart. I pulled him out of most of the AP classes available to him, and he told me that if he had been in a classroom, he would have had no problem doing the work and being successful. Distance learning provides zero motivation for the majority of students. They are simply getting through the material via a checklist to get the work done and then to move on, if they are even engaged enough to do the work. They are missing out on face-to-face interaction with their peers and the ability to bounce ideas off of each other and their teachers. My student will never turn on a camera, and his teachers are left with trying to teach him through a black square. This is heartbreaking for all involved. Also, we have been told for so long how important it is for students to be active, while sitting at home in front of a screen provides zero activity. It is past time to get back into the classrooms. Personally, I hope the students are back in school by February 1st and are given as much normalcy as can be given. Our district needs to stand strong and do what is best for students. In addition, I am 100% against any mandates for vaccines or testing of students and feel these decisions need to be made by the parents. Please do what is best for our students and get all of them back in school, not just for the lower grades. And this is from Sherry Ingram, is the parent.
All right, thanks, Sherry. Appreciate that. That was the only one that I had seen, so I'm assuming we don't have any other public comments.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Julie. All right, certified and classified representatives. Let's go ahead and start with you, Elizabeth. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Hi. So I think we all know that the governor made an announcement over the winter break, and I just wanted to use my time today to kind of express some of the feelings that I have received from staff members through that period of time till now. I want to first express that we have a lot of staff members who are so eager to be working with kids. Like we have been working with kids this entire time, but working in person, of course, is a different experience than working at a distance. And we all feel it. We are, having difficulty across the board. There's no question. But I also want to express that there are a lot of impassioned staff members who are terrified, and it feels like some of the last things that were there to protect us, and kept a sense of like, if the spread is too big in our community for us to feel safe, that we were still given the option to work with students in person in limited basis, but allowed to continue to work at a distance in order to keep ourselves and our families safe. There's a lot of urgency from our teachers that we have the vaccine right around the corner. It's in our friends. It's getting out there into the public, and that we feel like we're in the 11th hour. We could just potentially make it so that those of us who are concerned for our family, for ourselves, have the opportunity to feel safe before entering the classroom. And I know that, again, I have a lot of staff members I want to represent us fairly, who are desperate to be back in the classroom with kids. I just want to, put forward that urgency that our safety needs to still be really reconciled and really and dealt with during this time, and that I have a lot of scared staff members who are very excited to see how these next pieces will play out. And I just wanted to put that forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, and Velma Canfield, do you have anything tonight?
I would definitely say there are definitely some people on the classified side that are nervous about coming back. I myself am, and this is my personal opinion, I really feel like our kids need to be back. I'm sincerely hoping that we are able to get our first round of vaccines soon. Because I know a lot of, the teachers in my building, that certified in my, or classified in my building, just people I've talked to would definitely feel better if we had the vaccine first, but they're still eager to get back into the class, with social distancing and masks and all of that. Hopefully we can do what's best for the kids and the community and our elderly, who a lot of our kids are cared for by our older clientele. So I'm just hoping seriously that we can get the vaccine sooner than later. I think that would make a lot of our people a lot more comfortable. And I don't know where we're at on that at this point.
All right. Thanks, Velma. Let's move to the superintendent's report next. Tom, I'll let you go ahead and take it for a little bit.
Okay, the first item on my report is the enrollment, and that's in your packet 4B1. And there's no significant movement in our enrollment numbers, nothing significant in my report that I have not reported in the last several months. Are there any questions? Moving on to board recognition, item number 2. The governor office has proclaimed January 2021 as Board Recognition Month, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize the board myself. My belief is public education is the backbone of American society. Our founding fathers knew we needed educated and skilled citizenry to keep our country thriving. School boards are deeply rooted in American tradition, governance at the local level to achieve these goals of our founding fathers. And I'd like to say, under your governance, in the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years, I'd like to highlight, we've achieved a lot of things. Under your governance, for instance, we increased instructional days for students from 147 to 174 days and going from a 4 to 5 day week. We increased service and instructional time and electives at the high school for high school students. We've raised the graduation rate to over 13% from the 70s, low 70s to mid 80s at this point. Our students experiencing homelessness, statistically, their graduation rate is 50% of those students do not walk across the stage. And in Sweet Home, mid to 79% of our students experiencing homelessness, they graduate. We added PE back to the elementary schedule, forestry program, more CTE programs, and we have more scheduled. The pandemic, we were on the brink of more services and adding more programs, and we'll get back on track once we get through the pandemic. Regarding our facilities, as the community knows, we've renovated and upgraded and modernized Foster Elementary, Hawthorne Elementary, Holly Elementary, the auditorium, the junior high, multi-million-dollar project there. We've achieved this without raising the tax rate for our community. We've raised north of $10 million through matching grants and seismic grants, and our own talented facilities crew has done over $2 million worth of work, in my estimation, to help contribute to all these projects. So it's your vision, it's your fiscal prudence, your demand for the best for this community. And later tonight, I look forward to your feedback for another very important local decision regarding reopening our schools for our kids. We're finally getting back some local control. Board members, I'd like to recognize you individually. Dale Keene, this is a new year for you, but you have served previous 5 years for the Sweet Home School District, also as a board officer. Joe Kennedy, you've served for over a year now of service. Jim Gorley for 3 years. Deborah Brown, 6 years of service. Jason Van Eck, 8 years of service. I hope he's listening and made it to the meeting. Jenny Daniels, 10.5 years. I'm still trying to understand the 0.5 of service. Chance Keeney, 14 years of service. And Jason Reddick, 16 years of service. And last but not least, Mike Reynolds for 17 years of service on the Sweet Home School District. So we appreciate it, and we'd like to recognize you tonight. Next on my report is Mid-Valley STEM CTE Pipeline Mini Grant update. We received 2 mini grants from Pipeline and CTE STEM organization, one for our high school natural resources program, Blake Manley, and Michelle Snyder's science program. And I wanted to use this opportunity to have the Mid-Valley STEM CTE Pipeline Director discuss the grants and also brief the board on what the organization is doing for our businesses and our students in the region. I happen to be a board member of this organization. I'm a believer in getting our staff and students into industry and careers that involve our content areas. Likewise, I'm a believer in getting industry leaders into our classrooms. We need to understand how our curriculum and instruction connect to the skills and critical thinking needed in the workforce. Simply, how does our content connect to careers? We're seeing good things with Director Sarah Whiteside. And at this point of my report, I'd like to turn it over to Sarah and her talk about the Pipeline CTE and STEM organization. Sarah?
Great. Thank you, Tom. And hello, everyone. Good evening. Tom invited me here to talk about the STEM CTE Hub. And I understand I have about 5 minutes. So I'm going to move through as quickly as I can and hopefully allow time for any questions or comments here at the end. But I want to give you a sense of who we are and what we do and some ways that we can partner. So first of all, for some context, we are a STEM hub, and we are one of 13 in a network across the state. We are funded by grants, a combination of grants and investments from industry. Our region is all of Lynn and Benton counties, and our audience is preschool through 20, so really cradle to career. Our mission is to elevate and enhance STEM and CTE opportunities, so science, technology, engineering, and math, and career and technical education, ultimately with a goal of regional prosperity in an increasingly technologically complex and diverse society. The method for achieving all of that is through collective action. So forming partnerships, working with educators and families, industry, workforce development, community-based organizations, groups such as Parks and Recs and libraries and Boys and Girls Clubs, and really working to find champions of our mission and identify local needs and provide local solutions. So that's a bit about who we are. I want to share some of what we do. I'm going to pull up our website and share that with you if you want to follow along. We are at the midvalleystem.org. So we're looking here at our website. Can you all see that okay? Great. Okay. So about us, we are a small team with a big mission. This is the staff. Chris Singer, my colleague, who some of you may know from his work in Pipeline previously. And then we have 4 interns that work with us. But we also have the support of an excellent executive board. And we have members from across education and industry across both counties, including Tom here. And we also have an advisory board that works with us from various sectors. So we have a great support, great champions behind our work. I wanted to share with you a few highlights of the work we've been doing. I should mention that our hub has really just been up and running since early August. So this has all come together in the first 5 months of our partnership. And in business and community, I wanted to share with you, Tom spoke to our micro grants. We have grants that we're giving out to educators and to community-based organizations. We're giving up to $1,000 to classroom teachers to fund all manner of STEM and CTE projects, and up to $5,000 for community-based organizations. We have a current round that's open and a third round that will open and close just before the end of the school year. And I wanted to highlight a few of our recipients. We gave about $20,000 in our first round to educators across both counties for all kinds of projects, meeting the need that educators have in their classrooms. And as Tom mentioned, Blake Manley and his Manley Jobs Project was a recipient, excited about that partnership. And also Michelle Snyder received a grant for health occupation classes, and then a variety of community-based organizations doing all kinds of creative work in our communities to meet the need, which is particularly profound at this time, as we all know. I also wanted to just take a moment and point out our volunteer opportunities. We are actively looking for volunteers to be speakers and host students for internships and share skills. That's an opportunity to connect with the work that we do, as well as becoming a partner. We have a growing list of partners. Really, we are only successful by partnering with folks such as yourselves. Got our K-12 and ESD partners across both counties, our post-secondary education partners, our apprenticeships, community-based organizations. I wanted to highlight our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Santiam. We're working with Chris Latimer to build a makerspace in both of the Boys and Girls Clubs, and that's a great example of a partnership identifying a local need and providing a solution that's launching here at the end of January. And we have our list of business and industry. We'd like to grow our partnerships. And one other piece I wanted to point out for you all in our educators resources, we have great resources around STEM and CTE education. And I also wanted to share our trades notebook, which is an excellent resource for trades across and specific to Willamette Valley. And these cover all kinds of skilled trades and occupations. And we've recently updated this resource. It's available to all educators and career counselors. We can get you a printed copy if that would be helpful. And I wanted to just give you a, for instance, if, for example, you have a student who might be interested in being an automotive service technician, we've got the median salary, skills and job titles, primary tasks, job market, and then also how to prepare and where to get education if needed in the field. It's a great resource. I just wanted to be sure to point that out. So that's a bit about what we do. And I also just wanted to mention ways that we can partner. We'd love your help spreading the word about our microgrants to the community. We'd love to see you or folks you know volunteer. We'd love to see you sign up to partner. So I think maybe I got in just under 5 minutes and now can take any questions or comments that you might have.
Thanks, Sarah. Good work. And also, real quick, we have a virtual library where you can click links and students can explore different professions, correct? This has helped during this pandemic time period with distance learning.
Yeah, we're working on building that out. Our partnership with Blake is a place where we're looking to get lots of good video content for virtual job shadows and tours. One thing we hear time and again is the need for early and often career exploration for our students. And so really trying to meet that need by providing lots of good online content. We've been where we might normally have in-person career fairs and job shadows, we're trying to pivot there. And Blake's project is a good example of a creative solution there.
Nice. Okay, thank you, Sarah, very much. Nice job.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Next on my superintendent report is elementary and high school report. And I'd like to start with Principal Dargis of Holly. He's going to give a report, classified assistance, helping students learn, I believe. And this will be followed by our athletic director at the high school, Nate Tyler, is going to give a report. Go ahead, Josh.
Thanks, Tom. Good evening, school board. Happy New Year. Tonight, instead of giving you guys a snapshot of what teachers are doing at Holly, I wanted to take some time detailing out the extraordinary efforts of our classified support staff. Because of the size of the school and the dedication of our staff, we've been able to serve upwards of 90 students in a week, which is about 70% of our school, which is fantastic. In order to make this happen, I've had to depend on a support staff that is student-centered, positive, dedicated, flexible, and determined. Tonight, I would like to give you guys a brief snapshot of how one of those classified staff members spend their busy day. Please keep in mind that over the last month, I have changed this individual's schedule 3 times, as I have asked her to juggle her SPED responsibilities, her in-person groups, and supporting teachers at Holly School. So joining us to explain her busy day, or her current version of her busy day, is our behavior support assistant, Sarah Hartness.
Hey everybody, I apologize if my light goes out. So if you see me briefly get up to go turn on my light, I apologize. Like Mr. Dargis said, just a brief detail of my ever busy day. I'm usually in the reset room, which is located near the office, and I'm usually behavioral support, helping kids get back on track throughout their day. I've been lucky enough to be working with lots of kids. I recently just got a kindergarten group, which made me oh so happy. So to start off my day, I usually start the morning between 7:15 and 8:30 prepping and teach assist. I'm the teacher assist for the second grader group, Mrs. Deckard. So I'm typing tests, prepping materials that she needs for her in-class or online groups, printing anything that she needs, that kind of thing. 8:30 to 9:30, I have a small group. I have 2 fourth graders that come in and I help them with any SPED testing that needs to get done. Specialized instruction, Canvas assist, lots of Canvas assist. I try to make sure that they are on track with their teachers as well. Getting any big reports done, anything that they really didn't understand through their Zooms, I'm here to help. 9:30 to 10 is teach assist. 10 to 11:30 is prep for my kindergartners. Then I have lunch, and 11:30 to 1, I have my kindergarten group. We do ECRI, lots of ECRI, as you can see, and math, and we do vocabulary, spelling words. I have 3 students in that. They get to come in, eat lunch at a safe distance in my room. We clean up, we go use the bathroom, make sure that we have lots of space and time to do that. And we get right to work, and lots of work getting all those gaps filled. 1 to 2:30 is my second group, and I have 5 students. They are third graders, and it's specialized instruction, Canvas assist, and again, lots of Canvas assist. Anything that they miss throughout the day when they are down there with us, that's what we're doing. Making sure any ECRI that needs to happen for specific children, that's happening as much as needed. Between 2:30 and 2:40 is student pickup. 2:45 to 3, I have SPED Zooms. So I have 2 different kids that I meet with between 15 to 30 minutes a day, making sure that they not only have all of the testing that we can't have them come into the school to do is getting done, and making sure that all of their work is getting done, or if they have any questions that they let me know and I can talk to their teachers, make sure all of that is getting cleared up, and parents can get on there and ask me certain questions about where to find certain assignments, and making sure that any holes are filled in there too. So that's a look at my ever busy day, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Getting to work with kids is just amazing, and we're really lucky out here at Holly that we get to work, excuse the light, with as many as we can. Thank you.
Perfect timing. Thanks, Sarah. Just a quick closing comment. I want to send a thank you out to both transportation and maintenance who support our school in getting these kids there and making sure that we could do all the things that we're doing. So if there's any questions or comments, I'm happy to take them. If not, I'll send it back to you, Tom.
Thank you both very much. Great report. Appreciate it. And great timing right before the lights went out. Kevin, are we paying our bills out there? That's our energy saver, right? All right, Nate Tyler, our athletic director and our activities program, you're up.
All right, thanks, Tom. I'm going to share my screen here. Are you guys looking at a presentation now? Sweet Home High School Season 1 Athletics Report?
We're not.
No, you're seeing me?
Not yet.
That's
We're just
scary.
looking at your email. I'm kidding.
I don't have that up, so that's good. How's that?
There you go, Nate.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So good evening, everybody. I just wanted to take some time and talk about athletics, something we don't really get to do too much of nowadays. This report is really about season 1. If you're aware, OSAA announced in August that they were postponing athletics into December, and they created a 4-season plan. And season one was we could do basically whatever we wanted to do. We could even compete. It just had to be outside. And so I'm going to walk us through kind of what we did for season one. I'm not going to go over all this. We don't have the time. I don't really have the energy. But this is just kind of a quick summary. This is not everything that we've been faced with as far as athletics. For the school side of things, it's even more than this. But since March 12th, which was the first announcement of winter sports cancellation last year, pretty regularly we've had the carpet swept out from under us, and we've had to start from scratch in new planning, new brainstorming, and trying to find opportunities for kids. So in June, OSAA announced that they were postponing the start of sports into September so that we could get school underway before we proceeded with athletics. We never got to June or we never got to September. In August, OSAA announced that sports would be postponed into December. And that's when they announced the 4-season plan. So what we did was, after the June announcement, we had a coaches meeting, and I really challenged our coaches to provide opportunities throughout the summer for students. One, it's going to be good for our programs, but more importantly, through this time, it's what the kids need, and that's what we've been trying to stress, is it's what the kids need from us right now. Girls and boys basketball, football, boys and girls soccer, volleyball, swimming, cheer, dance, they've been going pretty hard since we've been allowed to get back at school activities, which was about June 15th. In August, we were thrown another curveball. OSA postponed the seasons into December. And so we created the season one mini seasons is what we call them. So we started out with spring sports, September 21 through October 30th. We chose September 21st as our start date. That allowed us 2 weeks of getting kids back in to school, distance learning, giving them a chance to get used to that routine before having to commit to coaches and practice times and stuff. And after spring sports, it was fall sports. And then we transitioned into the winter sports. And the purpose of that was going to give our winter sports 3 weeks prior to their season starting. There was a lot of guidance that we used in making these decisions. OSA had a number of good things. This was just one of their handouts that I took. You can really quickly see indoor activities versus outdoor activities, what's allowed, what's not. So basically any indoor activity we could condition, we could practice, but we could not do any activities or any competitions inside. Outdoor activities we could, and so we took advantage of that. When starting to put this plan together, I talked with Tom, and Tom gave me some good advice. Let's not be out on the limb out by ourselves. So let's see what others are doing. So I took what OSA was doing. I polled 4A athletic directors, and I took what I was comfortable with, and I kind of merged those three and tried to live in that area where they all overlapped. And so just kind of brainstorm through that. On the right-hand side of that, you can see the 4A schools that replied back to my survey, what type of workouts they were doing. Most of the schools were working out only. At that time, this would have been middle of August, middle of end of August. And at that time, about 6 schools said they were competing in anything and everything that they could. So we started spring sports September 21st. We had quite a few athletes turn out. Baseball had 35 athletes, softball 15. Baseball had 5 contests, softball 4. Track and field had 29 athletes, but no contest. We did have one scheduled, but we had to cancel it due to a COVID exposure that we had through our athletics programs. Golf had 6 athletes and no contests, which surprised me. I could not find a golf team out there willing to compete. You would have figured outdoors, 6 feet of space, we would have been able to get that done, but no other schools were willing to do that. Our coaches held practices, not to the normal standard of OSA season. It wasn't every day, but just about every program was at least 3 days a week. And I do want to point out on behalf of our coaches, they did not receive any pay for season 1 activities. They only get paid during the OSAA season. This is not technically the OSAA season, so none of them received pay for this. I anticipated having to convince a couple of coaches, at least, that no, this is going to be good for kids. Let's get out there. I did not have to have any of those conversations. Every single one of our coaches was jumping at the opportunity to work with kids, and not necessarily for their program, but for the kids. They wanted to be there for the kids and help them through this time. After our spring sports, so we did have to cut our spring sports short 1 week. As I said, we had a COVID exposure, and so we took 1 week off. Then we transitioned to our fall sports. Volleyball had 31 athletes. They did have 1 contest. We were not able to compete indoors, so we competed out on Husky Field. My coach, along with Dustin Nickel and her husband, David, put together some outdoor nets, and we went out there. We had some propane heaters out there for the girls. It was really, really cold out there, but they got to compete in volleyball underneath the stadium lights. And overall, it was a great experience. Football had 29 athletes, which is pretty low, but it was hard to get a lot of the linemen, linebacker type guys out, because the only thing we could do was really throw a ball, catch a ball, run with the ball. We couldn't put hands on each other. We couldn't block. We couldn't tackle. We couldn't do any of that stuff. So those numbers took a hit. Those skill positions did compete as a club in 7-on-7. Cross country had 16 students out. Girls soccer had 21. They had 3 contests. Boys soccer had 15, 3 contests. 112 athletes participated in our fall sports mini season. Again, 3 times a week, coaches doing that without pay during that season. Our winter sports got shut down before we could actually start. The governor announced that 2-week freeze in the middle of November. And so we were not able to get winter sports going at all prior to that freeze, and we haven't been able to transition back into anything since then. So winter sports haven't had any sort of mini season. In fact, we haven't had any actual practices since November 17th. Volleyball has done a little bit of outside stuff for club. Football is going to start getting going again next week or the week after for workouts and things. But we've been shut down for about 2 months now. Then we got dance and cheer. They don't have an OSAA season, if you didn't know that. We did hire a new dance coach in June. She started right away with open gyms in July. Both of those seasons started at the regular time, which is August 31st. And so they've been going. They've had modified practices since they've been able to go. Modified meaning no contact, so no stunting, no close dancing or cheering close to each other. So it's quite a bit different than what the girls are used to. But again, since November 17th, they couldn't be in a gym, so we've been shut down. We've had a number of safety measures to ensure that our students and our coaches are safe. These are a few of them. So hand sanitizer and bleach wipes. I was talking with our volleyball coach today. Never cleaned the volleyballs so much as we have this year. I never heard of baseballs and softballs and basketballs being wiped down every day. But that's what we did so that we could compete or so that we could play. Every coach sent me their contact tracing log after every session so that if there was a situation, we could quickly trace who had contact with each other. And there was just a whole number of things, including face coverings being required. And so we did a lot of the safety measures, protocols that we were required to do to keep everybody safe. This is the protocols that I put together, and I shared it with the schools that we were competing with during that season 1. That way we were all on the same page and following all the safety protocols as a group. That way one school didn't show up at another facility and not know what was going on. So we tried to be uniformed in what we were doing out there. Outside of season 1, we have been doing opportunities for kids. That's what I'm going to keep harping. We wanted to provide as many opportunities for our students as possible. So open gyms and open fields were held throughout the summer as well as mini seasons. So even though it was baseball and softball time, basketball, volleyball, they were still offering open gyms. So boys and girls basketball held regular open schedule, modified open gyms. Modified for basketball meaning not supposed to be setting screens, limiting that contact with each other, could not go 5-on-5. So we did a little bit of 3-on-3, really working on skill development, not so much competition. Both boys and girls basketball programs, though, held open gyms for junior high athletes. I'm really proud of our coaches for doing that. That's not something that I came up with. This is something that they wanted to do on their own. Yes, it helps their program in the long run, but this wasn't about that. This was, we know that kids are hurting right now, and we wanted to make sure, they wanted to make sure that they were reaching down and helping those students. Boys and girls soccer did the same thing. At their open fields, they invited the junior high soccer players out and scrimmaged with them. Volleyball did the same thing. In addition to their regular gyms, open gyms, junior high athletes had their own. And those were, again, by our high school coaches, trying just to put a smile on kids' faces and keep them engaged. So here are outcomes from our season one. It was really positive, really encouraging, especially when we took a look at the numbers. I tried to break this up into the 4 pillars that we talk about at the district level. First one, outstanding achievement. So on October 1st, this was about 3 weeks into the school year, 50% of our athletes that were out for a sport at that time were failing at least 2 classes. And I'd like to remind you that we broke our schedule at the high school. So students only had 3 classes at this time, and 50% were failing 2 or more. A little more than a month later, on November 13th, at the end of quarter 1, only 4 athletes failed 1 class. No athletes failed 2 or more. And every single student that was out for that fall, for that season 1 activity would be eligible for OSAA. So it really helped encourage kids, having coaches talking with them, making sure they're keeping up on their grades and attendance, really helped out. Thriving Citizen, we had a lot of support given to our athletes during this time. I know that coaches took time talking about resiliency and confidence and teamwork and responsibility, more so than normal. Just trying to encourage kids that, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We can get through this. We can get through it together, and just really encouraging kids. We also had, supporting athletes with their mental and physical well-being, which is extremely vital. We all know that the students are taking a hit on their mental health. There's study after study showing that. And so being able to compete, being able to be around their friends and their coaches really helped with that. Thriving community. I wasn't too concerned at our first competition because it was baseball and softball. I didn't think there would be a ton of community support. They're typically lower attended events. And these were just glorified scrimmages. And I was wrong. We had a ton of community support. There was as many people out there to watch the baseball game as there was for the baseball playoff game that was a couple of years ago. It was very impressive to see that support for our athletes. And then I talked about that support that we provided for our younger ages and not just for the high school. And safe, welcoming facilities and services. We did follow all those COVID protocols set by OSAA, OHA, those guidelines, masks, cleaning, contact tracing, et cetera. And one thing that we can kind of point at is there was no COVID cases that resulted in any of the athletic opportunities. As I mentioned earlier, we had an exposure, but that was from the home. Both parents tested positive, so the son was a presumptive positive, but no other athlete. It did not spread to any other student or athlete from the activities, from the sports. So that was really encouraging. That's it. I just wanted to take time, let you know what we had done, and let you know that it was really positive and it really helped out with kids' attendance and keeping them on track for graduation.
Thank you, Nate. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Well, Nate, I really appreciate the work you've done, the work the coaches have done, the student athletes, connecting to our, not giving up on our mission during this time period of every kid. It's been our goal to be connected to some activity when they get to high school, whether it's drama or a sport or choir or whatever. So I appreciate it. It's been a very difficult time period. It's been disappointing, but you have shown perseverance. The students have shown perseverance in trying to figure out how we can and what we can do and be safe. So I appreciate that.
Thanks, Tom.
Next in my superintendent report is I'm going to take items number 5 and 6 and really combine them. In the return to in-person instruction, an update on that, instructional models, and so forth. And I'm going to share a screen. I have a PowerPoint to help guide us through this section of my report. Can I get a thumbs up if you can see that? Okay. All right. So what I'd like to do in this section of my report is talk about the past, when the pandemic started, what we could do, the present, where we're at right now, and in the future. So first off, I'd like to talk about the hierarchy of organizational authority when it comes to education. A reminder, the governor puts forth orders, advisories, and directives to ODE, the Oregon Department of Education, and the Oregon Health Authority. The governor is, in all intents and purposes, the state superintendent. Public schools, districts, to stay open and receive funding must follow and comply with ODE and OHA guidelines. School boards and superintendents preside over local governance and operations. As an example, academic and athletic programs, strategic planning, budgets, facilities, calendars, building schedules, contracts, and so forth. That's what we do. Since March 16, 2020, the governor's mandated executive school closure orders affected the following things. So all school districts must follow ODE's Ready School Safe Learners. You'll see RSSL guidelines a lot. Those are ODE's guidelines that we must follow in order to operate our schools. These state guidelines mandate health and safety protocols and metrics for what types of instruction is allowable. Distance, for example, distance learning, in-person, limited in-person learning, according to its county case counts. So there you have a metrics, and then you have a matching delivery of instruction. So RSSL dictates expectations of delivery of instructional models. The ability to open for in-person learning depends upon county, size of county, metrics in the county, size of school, safe harbor provisions, and resources available. And these variations have often caused confusion and frustration for schools, staff, parents, and students. So as an example, if a county's metrics is high, in other words, case counts per 100,000 are high, that would dictate in most counties, we must be doing distance learning. Also, school size affects the delivery of services as well. So if you have a small school, you can meet the safety protocols of 35 square feet per student, and you might be able to have most of your students back. In Sweet Home, when we return, we're not small. We're not a big district, of course, but we have 6 schools. Our class sizes go from 20 to 30, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. So under the safety protocols, we virtually have to divide everything we do in half. Also, has been a point of frustration and confusion, schools that started the school year in person, and when the metrics exceeded and demanded distance, they were provided safe harbor provisions, which allowed them to continue. These are some examples of what's been going around the state, which has been confusing, frustrating, and oftentimes inequitable. All right, January shift from mandatory, present time now, mandatory to advisory, kind of. I will explain. So on December 23rd, the governor put forth 5 stipulations to the Department of Education and Oregon Health Authority for the return to school for students. These are her language in her letter to her departments. Local school boards, superintendents, educators, and school employees work towards the resumption of in-person instruction to the greatest extent possible, prioritizing elementary education grounded in sound science, public health, and safety. I want to do a sound check. Can you hear me okay? Okay, thank you. Secondly, OHA is to assist schools in rapid on-site COVID testing to minimize quarantine time, prioritizing, again, elementary students and staff. Third, governor dictated that case count metrics and associated instructional models move from mandatory to advisory. The decision to resume in-person instruction must be made locally, district by district, school by school. Schools must continue to adhere to the required health and safety protocols and work in close consultation with the local health, public health authority. OHA and ODE must align Ready Schools Safe Learners guidance and OHA OSHA rules to ensure all necessary health and safety protocols and procedures and protocols are included to allow maximum access to in-person instruction in keeping with reasonable health and safety standards. And finally, all these protocols, I'll summarize this last one, need to be updated and incorporated in the January 19 Ready Safe Schools guidance for our districts. So we'll have some new information coming, but we have a good idea of what's coming. And what is the goal? The goal is the governor set a targeted hope, this is quoting, that more Oregon schools, especially elementary schools, will transition to in-person instruction by February 15, 2021. The governor has now given us, I put limited, because there's a assumption out there that we can absolutely make our own decisions, and we can make some, but I'll explain. Local to control, that is, we are limited to the stipulations put forth from ODE and OHA. Why? What is the why? Why the shift from mandatory to advisory? Here is the governor's and ODE and OHA's rationale. When schools follow required health and safety protocols, there is low risk of transmission and illness when students resume in-person instruction. ODE and OHA have reviewed scientific studies and put forth students are less likely to be infected with COVID-19 and they're less likely to spread COVID-19. ODE and OHA put forth schools are not the source of spread of COVID-19. However, schools often help mitigate, stop the spread of COVID-19 in their communities. And we've seen that here in Sweet Home. States with metrics of 350 per 100,000 COVID-19 tests have been operating using hybrid in-person instruction successfully. As an example, Washington's metrics for in-person hybrid is at 350. Minnesota's at 500. Colorado's at 350. And today, as we speak, nearly 90% of Oregon students risk not being in school for in-person learning for almost a year. The social, emotional, academic needs of students outweigh what the science says are the actual health risks to students and staff if health and safety protocols are followed in school. So the impact of shift thus far, okay, so since December 23rd, I participate in state and regional meetings to keep track of these developments. Here's what I've learned. Current PACE insurance does not support any district with liability insurance that operates outside of the advisory metrics. We anticipate an update to this guidance very soon. On January 19th, ODE and OHA will change the current metrics based on studies such as the Harvard studies. When I finish tonight and conclude sometime tomorrow or the next day, I'll post this PowerPoint, and this is a link, and we can go right to those Harvard studies. ODE and OHA are looking into helping counties make more uniform recommendations to districts. As an example, this has not been uniform regarding the closure of schools based on COVID cases. Some schools have been closed up as an example, and some schools have just quarantined specific cohorts. So they're going to try to calibrate a little bit more. January 12th, ODE is conducting feedback sessions regarding adjustments to the January 19 RSSL update. OHA and county departments are developing vaccine plans for staff. Velma asked a question earlier. So in Lynn County, a team of superintendents, I'm on it. We've asked for 2 plans. We are meeting every week. Plan A is all staff if at once getting all of staff vaccinated, and then if there's not enough vaccines coming in, let's target grades 6 K through 6 staff and the supporting departments such as nutrition, transportation, and so forth. In working with the county director, Lynn County director, he believes that within the month, school staff will be eligible to begin vaccination. The bottom line, Oregon Department of Education recommends districts wait until all the updates can be made by January 19th, as well as allow OHA to help prepare county authorities for the transition to more localized control before returning to hybrid in-person learning. We have built this timeline you'll see in our plan, and we've allowed a little bit of time for possible adjustments. Our pathway forward, our students, families, staff, and community need a date for the return of in-person instruction. We cannot continue our pathway forward if we come back. We need a when. Also, we have a duty to our students, staff, and families to help keep us as safe as possible. And we have a civic duty to help keep our community as safe as possible. And we have a balance to strike to stop the detrimental academic, social, emotional effects of being out of school versus doing everything we can to not contribute to a community pandemic. The basics of our Sweet Home School District return to hybrid learning plan are, here it is. We will exceed the governor's goal. We hope to exceed the governor's goal and have all students back to hybrid instruction in the month of February. Emphasize all. She's asking for elementary. We have a plan to bring all students back, starting with K through 3, February 1st, to be in buildings. Grades 4 through 6, February 16th. We will phase up to onboard 7 through 12, the week of February 12th. All grades K through 12 students will be attending school under a hybrid learning model by the last week of February. And any K through 12 student may continue distance learning if a family chooses. We will have families with parents, grandparents with underlying conditions, possibly students, and we will make that available, distance learning, continue that for any student in our district. And this is bold. All student schedules must follow hybrid health and safety models as dictated by ODE, OHA, safety protocols. So this is good news, the plan to return to school, but we need to underscore this, that here's Colt Gill, he's the deputy superintendent. He's saying here it's critical that this shift is not confused with any release from other requirements of schools and districts in RSSL guidance. The health and safety protocols, expectations for maintaining an operational blueprint, and all other guidance remains active and it is required. So that means masks, social distancing, all the cleaning, screening protocols must be followed in order for us to get students back in schools. In addition, we're still held to local and state health and safety contact tracing and quarantining protocols. In some cases, staff and students may be sent home or stay at home while contact tracing takes place. This can take place with little notice, as we've seen in Sweet Home. We've had cases, as Nate alluded to, and schools may be required to temporarily close. We hope not, but we want to be straightforward with everyone. And that means families will need to remain flexible about childcare should a school cohort, a group of students, group of people, staff and students, may be required to temporarily go home, quarantine. February 15th holiday, by the way, is the date set by the governor with support being developed by ODE and OHA. We've developed the work needed for this to happen already. We're ready to go. We have been ready to go. We've developed in-person hybrid blueprints submitted to the county and ODE. We have worked already with our MOUs for hybrid in-person learning with our unions, done. Hybrid in-person schedules for grades K through 3 for all schools and departments, done. So we're ready to go. So what happens? What happens between now and February kickoff? We'll continue to research, work out a resolution for PACE insurance coverage. We'll have schools review all pertinent blueprint materials. We've got to pull that off the shelf, go through it again, and prepare for operations with staff. We need to understand and incorporate new January 19 RSSL guidance. Continue to monitor case count trends with the health department. Like I said, I have weekly meetings now with the local Linn County superintendents and Todd Noble, the director of Linn County Health Department. Partner with Linn County to build and execute the vaccination plan for our staff. Between now and February, encourage our staff and students to continue using limited in-person instruction for students and staff. And this week, tomorrow, I'll meet with key staff communicators, to certified to classified principals, each building. We're going to go through this PowerPoint. I'm going to have the staff members ask me questions. I'll ask for feedback, concerns, and I'll ask those 5 people to deliver this PowerPoint to staff and do likewise ask questions and gain feedback. At this point, I'd like to, here's where we're going. We're in the home stretch. I'd like to ask our district nurse, Patty O'Day, to share health and safety risks of returning to in-person learning. She's been studying this. She works with the county officials. And then I'd like to have Rachel, our chief academic officer, talk. We have an opening plan template that we'd like to post. And ultimately, at the very end, I'd like to get the board feedback regarding reopening plans. Patty, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Hello, everyone. So we are now 10 months into a new disease, and we are still learning new information on a regular basis. The most recent data from the K-12 schools do not confirm fears that bringing kids together in classrooms inevitably will create COVID-19 petri dishes. So in other words, the fear that you would have one infected student come to school and then many other kids and teachers would get infected has just not happened. The largest study in the United States, led by Brown University, was done in September. It included schools that are open in 47 states. There were over 200,000 students involved and 63,000 staff. And the infection rate results were 0.13% among students and 0.24% for staff. That means there's still some infections and outbreaks that are going to happen, but all that evidence shows that school outbreaks typically come from the community, not vice versa. The study also showed that there are 3 common characteristics in schools that are doing well. 1, they're operating under capacity as they open to minimize grouping and crowding. 2, they are following protocols for distancing, masks, and washing hands. And finally, they are allowing students the option to attend online if needed. So Sweet Home School District has experienced positive cases, as we all know, but we responded quickly. We worked as a team on contact tracing, and thus we had very limited exposure. We have all our COVID protocols in place. I believe our staff is vigilant in following protocols to keep everyone as safe as possible. And I can say with the utmost confidence that we are prepared for our kids to come back to school safely. I'm very excited for us to get our kids back.
Okay, I was talking without my mic. Here we go. I'd like to go to, whoops, how do we go backwards? Stand by, everybody. Oh. Hang on. We had a problem. Just a second. We're in the home stretch. I'll simplify this. From current slide. Okay. Rachel Stuckey is going to walk us through this document, and then I'll ask for some feedback.
Thank you, Superintendent Yares. Good evening, Chairman Reddick and members of the board. Tonight, we want to present to you, in combination with the presentation that Superintendent Yares shared, the big picture, a one-page snapshot of how this is meant to unfold. But as I say that, in actuality, I think it's important to note that we have such a different set of variables, and that requires pretty extensive planning. Our parents, our students, our staff, we're all used to having a certain type of muscle memory in order to get things up and started for a school year. And this is going to be quite different. So even though you are going to see examples and information on this one pager, please know that there is extensive planning for every single cell on this table. If you look across the top, you will see that we are outlining what's going to happen every week, what's going to happen specifically for students in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade, what's going to happen for grades 4 through 6, grades 7 through 8, and grades 9 through 12. So the week of January 25th, you'll see, if you look across the top, comprehensive distance learning is going to continue at all 4 of those age levels, with the exception that for grades K-3, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, there will be instruction and practice, but not live teaching. It will be what we call asynchronous activities. The following week, beginning February 1st, hybrid instruction is going to begin, and we will have our kindergarten through 3rd grade students in school 5 days a week. They will be in AM or PM sessions based on alphabetical last name and or bus routes. For the other 3 age groups, if you keep going across, you'll see that comprehensive distance learning continues. For the week of February 8th, our kindergarten through 3rd grade will be fully hybrid instruction. Our distance learning students will continue to receive their distance learning instruction, and on-site will receive on-site instruction. We will have comprehensive distance learning for the 3 other age groups. And just as K-3, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for grades 4 through 6 will not have live instruction, so that our teachers can plan activities, but also get their classrooms ready. Our next big push will take place the week of February 15th through 19th. Hybrid instruction will continue for kindergarten through 3rd grade. Note that Monday is a holiday, so this will start on Tuesday. In-person students will attend 4 days a week for grades 4 through 6, with Wednesday being an asynchronous day for teachers to plan their comprehensive distance learning for students who will be continuing to work from home. Just as kindergarten through 3rd grade,
The AM and PM sessions will be based on bus routes and or alphabetical last name. Our students will remain with their teacher even if they're distance learning. Just a reminder, Monday's a holiday, Friday will be a staff training day. And while there isn't a link tonight to the schedule that's to be developed, we will have that ready live in the next week. For grades 7 through 8, during that same week, we're going to have school orientations. Our junior high will host on Tuesday, grade 7 only, and on Thursday, grade 8 only. For grades 9 through 12, please excuse me, if Superintendent Uris, can you scroll back up just a little bit? Thank you, I appreciate that. I forgot to mention that the Friday before, the week of February 8th, seniors will be coming that Friday, followed by the following week, February 16th, grade 11, February 17th, grade 10, and I know the high school was very intentional about putting grade 9 last so that their experience would be closest to what's going to happen the following week. Which brings us to the week of February 22nd. We'll have hybrid instruction going full force, kindergarten through 6th grade, and full force for 7, 8, and 9 through 12. The schedules look a bit different than they do for kindergarten through 6th grade. The junior high is going to be having their students attend shortened days, 2 days a week, based on grade level. Monday and Tuesdays will be grade 7, Thursdays and Fridays will be grade 8. And students who are continuing to work from home will remain with their assigned teachers. Similar in the high school, our in-person students will attend 2 shortened days a week, but it will be based on alphabetical order of last name. Monday and Tuesday, last names A through LI, and Thursday and Friday, last names LO through Z. And again, students who are remaining at home for distance learning will continue to remain on their same teachers' rosters. We kept the next 4 or 5 weeks on there because we want to show our community we're going to stop now. It's going to roll out and continue up until spring break. And then when we come back from spring break, we will continue. So this is what we have for you tonight for your consideration and response. Superintendent Yaris, back to you.
All right, found my mic. Okay. So my slide is not advancing, but that's okay. On the next slide, what it has is it just asks for school board feedback with this plan. And I'm going to stop my screen share and so I can hear. Does directors have any feedback for the rollout of this plan?
I think most of my questions have been answered. I think most of the questions I get from the community is how are we going to keep people safe and get them back to school at the same time? And so.
Yeah, I'm all for getting our kids back in school. So kudos to all you planners. This is an amazing amount of work. Thank you, Rachel. But yeah, I think for too long we've been listening to politicians. They've been making the decisions and the mandates when all the experts are telling us your kids are better off in school, because we're losing them to suicide, to depression, to all kinds of negative things. And the experts from the CDC to the World Health Organization, Pediatrics Association, psychiatrists, they've been saying our kids are better off in school than at home. So good job. And I hope we can pull it off.
Absolutely. I think it's a great plan. Tom, you know, I've been on you for a while about getting things ramped back up and getting kids back in school. I shared my opinion on the leadership of the state for several weeks and months now. I know there's still going to be some fear from staff about the virus, and I think we'll get the shots as soon as possible. I know I just got mine last week, being a first responder, but you know, all the studies are showing that it's not the schools that are spreading it. So kudos to everybody involved, and let's get them back in their seats and back to a better form of learning. I know the staff and teachers are all putting their best into this distance learning, but kids are struggling. You know, I got a AB student that got her first D and she's devastated. So, you know, let's get them back to actual learning.
I like it. It's an aggressive plan. I like to see him completely back, no hybrid, but that'll come in due time. I'm thinking so. But kudos to the planners.
Sounds good on my end of it, Tom. Try pulling a flatbed trailer behind those buses. You can haul more kids and get them back sooner.
I'll check with the county on that one, Chance.
I could sell some hay. Sit on hay bales.
Well, I appreciate the feedback, all of it. Jim, I appreciate, recognizing the protocols that we're still going to have, we are going to have, and to keep folks safe. And Dale, right on with, this is phase one, and we can anticipate as COVID case counts diminish, folks get vaccinated up. I'm sure the protocols will lessen, and we can slowly get back to other phases of normalcy. But this is a first step that we need to take. I'm about concluded with my report. Is there any other feedback I should consider?
I'll just say real quick. I know there was a number of parents that had sent emails and things like that. I spent some time prior to this meeting going through those emails, and I just want to say thank you to the parents for sure for giving us that information. And if you didn't have a chance to see some of those, definitely go back and read them. I think it's important information to have coming from the parents. But this isn't as aggressive as some want. I know that. I think everybody else understands that. You know, there are parents out there that want the kids back to school tomorrow. But honestly, it's a task just getting things going. We got to have the safety in mind. We've got to have the lives of the teachers and their prep times and things like that in mind. So all in all, I think it's a great plan. I think it's a good balance of getting the kids back to school quickly, but still allowing enough time to get everything in place to do so. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jason. Well, we're a can-do community. We got a can-do staff, and we're gonna get things rolling. This is it's a good day for the kids, parents, and staff and community. And that's my superintendent report. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom. All right, next we have the consent agenda. 4 items on here. Number 1, approve the minutes from the December 14, 2020 school board meeting. Approve donations of an English oak and redwood tree to the high school wood shop from Pat Steiniff. Approve a donation of 84 used Chromebooks from the Lebanon School District. And accept the resignation from Billy Cannon as the district behavior support coach effective March 12, 2021.
As much as I hate to see Billy Cannon's name on there, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I will go through any discussion on any of those items. All right, hearing none, I'll go through the roll call here again. So I'll start with Jim Gorley.
Aye.
And Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Dale Keene.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
Jason Van Eck.
Aye.
And I also am an aye, so consent agenda passes. Next we have in the information and discussion, the budget update and bond and safety information. Kevin.
Thanks, Jason. I'll go ahead and start with the budget update. This is item 6A in the board packet. Year-to-date spending has declined by $249,870 compared to the same time period last year. Four main reasons for that. First, as Nate mentioned earlier, we have not paid stipends to the fall and winter sports coaches. Second, substitute expense is down significantly this year. Third, we do have some open classified positions that we have not filled. And fourth, we have spent less on bus fuel. Okay, I'll move ahead to the bond update. No changes in spending compared to where we were at the end of last month. One of the encouraging things right now is as we're wrapping up the project, we initially had left bleachers for the new junior high gymnasium out of the scope of work, and just in case we needed a contingency, I think we're at a place now where we can move forward with ordering bleachers for the gym, and so that'll be kind of the final touch for the gym, which will be nice to have. And moving to the last item I have, safety, we had no recordable incidents during the month of December.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Any questions for Kevin on any of those? All right, we will move on. Facilities update, Josh Starwood.
Yeah, thank you. So Tom asked me to give some quick little review of, and he kind of touched on it in his talking earlier too, of kind of the facilities side and the great things that we've been able to accomplish over the last little bit here. And I want to say I'm going to show a few slides here, and I'll just show like a before and after, but it's just going to be a snapshot from the outside of the building. And there's so much more that we did. And as I'm going through these, it does make me excited to know that we're not just making buildings, but there's going to be kids back in them again soon. So that's cool. It's going to be nice to have them filled with kids that they were designed for. And then, as I've shared many times before, we weren't just wanting to make facilities that were warm and inviting from the outside, but we wanted to have them more secure and be able to create an environment that mostly was making the teaching and learning best possible. And so as a first impression, I'm going to show you these. You can see that outside video, but so to remind you guys, I know a lot of you went through this whole process with us before, but I'm just going to remind you, inside of them, we got new fire alarm systems, new intercom reader board systems, the new entry vestibule with the office rearranged differently for those safe entrances, also creating a better office supervision, new key card access through the building for better security, new security cameras, a lot of new LED lighting throughout. So there was a lot of, I mean, I'm just going to show you guys the outside here, but there was a lot of really neat stuff inside also. So I'll share you guys see it all good? My screen? So the bond that was passed, we had said that, oops, got to click here, that we'd make the schools safer. We get the $4 million matching grant, and we'd structure it so that the tax rate would not increase. So all these cool things between the seismic grant that we've been able to get for several schools, the bond, the matching grant, all this, and then long-term investments that extend the school life. So these are the promises that I'm going to show you guys. It's kind of fun to look back and see that kept, and how Sweet Home Schools has made great improvements for the community. So I know the community voted for this, and it's fun to see these improvements this way. So first off, the auditorium. So if you guys remember when we did that seismic grant there, we also did a lot of changes. This was the inside before, and this is it after. We made not only it so that it won't fall down in a earthquake, it now has more appealing with the sound panels and the LED lighting and the paint job, and looks a ton better. That Hawthorne School, the seismic, and then also all the other upgrades we did. There it is after. Huge improvements for the community. At Foster, this was it before, and this is it after. At Hawley School, you can see where the entrance was tucked back in here underneath that roof. And after, where we now have the office space next to where I was talking, the vestibule and the new entrance, and then the new ADA ramp coming up the front of the building instead of the back. So we have one point of entrance. The junior high, this one, I'm in and out of there all the time with contractors. I forget when I'm looking back at these pictures, the drastic difference. It really took a big change. This is it now. It doesn't even feel like the same building. So it's pretty awesome. And then a few pictures popped inside. So this was the old cafeteria that was a satellite building, if you guys remember, and it was kind of a modular style building that was at the end of its lifespan. And as you can see, all the windows around the sides, well, there is none. So you can imagine what that was like in a power outage. But old cafeteria, and this is now the new cafeteria. Thing you're missing here in this picture is to the right. Those are all windows down that wall right there looking out over the football field. So just the natural light and the warmth of this environment. And this is the new gym. We kept the old gym and added this second gym, and it's beautiful. So basically where the picture is taking from is the side where Kevin was talking about the bleachers will be going, is up this left side. So that's it for me. I wanted to also say kudos to Tom and the team for their aggressive role in trying to get kids back. So I'm the total facilities side, but I'm in all these other meetings because of the cleaning and protocols and everything. And for me to see them take this aggressive approach with building these buildings and giving me the green light to go for this stuff that a lot of districts, and you board too, you've given us the green light to go for things that a lot of districts wouldn't try to tackle this quickly. We've done a lot in the last few years. And that same attitude is what they've been chomping at the bit for a while now to get these kids back, and have made changes after changes after changes to these plans as the state tells us the new changes that they want us to make. And now that we see this little opening and ability to get kids back, they are jumping at it. So I don't know. I just wanted to take the 2 seconds to say thank you. And it's an honor to be a part of this team. Any questions on the facility stuff? No? All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that. The junior high, like you said, that's a drastic change there. That's really neat to see. All right, next we have the board policy updates. Just a reminder, we're removing the GCBDAA and the associated AR out of that string of board policy updates. This is a second reading, so we can push this off for another month, or we can move it to an action item and take action tonight. If we do take action tonight, I believe it has to be unanimous in order to move forward with them.
So Tom, has there been any feedback from the board so far? Questions?
Not at this point. As you know, all board members have the briefs from OSBA that outlined why the policy upgrades, refinements, and it's all due to state statute changes, state law changes, which affect our policies. So there haven't been any questions. These, as a reminder, these were written by the legal attorneys from the Oregon School Boards Association. So, and they're required and highly recommended and required. So, no.
Okay, in that light, then, Mr. Chairman, I move that we move these forward and make an action item out of it tonight.
As amended?
Second.
As amended with the one strikeout.
Okay, so we got Mike with the motion and Deborah, you're with the second. Okay, any discussion on these items or on moving this forward? Sorry. All right, hearing none, I will go through and roll call then. And this is just to move it to an action item from here. So we'll start out with Jim Gorley.
Aye.
And Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
And Dale Keene.
Aye.
And Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye.
And Deborah Brown.
Aye.
And Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
And I am also an aye, so we will move this to action item D. And board policies. All right. Now we'll move to the action items. So first one there is resolution 04-2021, the LBL local service plan. Hopefully everybody saw the pretty good size stack of paperwork that went out with this one. I don't know that there's any surprises from what we've had in the past on there. Is there, Tom?
That's correct. It's annually the school board sees this. This is working with 12 other districts in the region, and it consolidates resources and helps each other out in tier 1, tier 2 services, and that often is student services, office suites, helps our business manager, student data collections of grades and attendance and so forth, and that's usually what we've done in the past, and it continues in the future.
All right, so
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve resolution 04-2021 LBL local service.
Second.
Okay, we have Mike with a motion and Jim with a second. Any discussion on this item? All right, I will roll call through again. Jim Gorley.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Dale Keene.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye. Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
And I am also an aye, so the motion passes. Next, we have approved the 2021-2022 budget calendar. Hopefully everybody saw that. Looks pretty standard. Any surprises in there, Kevin?
It is standard. It's modeled after what we did this past year.
Motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, so we had Jim with the motion. Mike, was that a second from you?
Yes.
All right, any discussion about the budget calendar? All right, hearing none, we'll go through the roll again. Jim Gorley.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Dale Keene.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
And Mike Reynolds. And I am also an aye, so we'll move forward with the budget calendar in place. All right, C there, approve license professional agreement. This has been approved by the union, and now it's up to us to agree to it. So,
Motion to approve the licensed professional agreement.
Second.
Okay, so we had a motion, and I think Mike and Joe kind of chimed in there at the same time. So
I'll yield to Joe.
okay, so we got Jim as the motion and Joe as the second. So any discussion on the professional agreement, licensed professional agreement? All right, I will roll call it again. So Jim Gorley.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Dale Keene.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds.
Aye.
And I am also an aye, so that motion passes. And then action item D, the board policies without the COVID-19 related leave policy involved there. So any discussion on this one? Any
Motion to
questions?
approve board policy updates as amended.
Second.
Okay, so we have Jim as a motion and Mike as a second. Any discussion on any of these items? Okay, hearing none, I'll roll call it again. Jim Gorley.
Aye.
Joe Kennedy.
Aye.
Dale Keene.
Aye.
Jenny Daniels.
Aye.
Chance Keeney.
Aye.
Deborah Brown.
Aye.
Mike Reynolds. And I am also an aye, so that one is unanimous, so those will move forward. All right, I haven't seen any late items. We just had the one change to the agenda, so nothing there. Do we have any board comments? I'm sorry, I missed that one.
Just Tom's looking pretty sharp tonight. I was wondering, we've already had his evaluation, right?
It's the tie, I think, you know.
Your feedback was to wear a tie more often.
All right, hearing no comments. Future board meetings, next board officers meeting is February 1st, 2021 at 3:30 in the superintendent's office. If you have anything that you need us to look at for getting onto the agenda, get it to Tom or one of us officers prior to that meeting, and we will discuss it there. Next board meeting is February 8th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. I don't know, hopefully in the district office boardroom. That would be really great. Depends on what this sickness does though. So look forward to that. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.